him. Hey guys, Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, joined by Chris Halleck over there. This is the double shot of Steelers is presented by FanDuel. It comes on the day that Mike Tomlin has a press conference that really was not all that remarkable. There wasn't some big, I've got something to say. He reiterated a lot of what there was after the game. Not that big a deal, right?
I disagree a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I thought, now, I didn't think that this was like some sort of like come to Jesus moment, or, you know, like we saw a completely different version of Mike Tomlin. I also think the way he kind of spoke about the whole change thing, because I remember, like, it was end of season press conference last year, and I asked him pointed, like, directly, like, do you look at, like, reevaluate how you go about doing your job? Like, when you have what just happened to your team, and that happened when that was the 5-game collapse, like, do you look at everything that you do and evaluate it and are open to change? And he was open about it. He definitely went more into that today. And some of the things he said, I actually thought were kind of, it wasn't just the typical, like, Tomlinism type answer. I think some of it was definitely more of the typical Tomlin answers for sure, but I thought there was a little bit of something there where it was a little bit different. I don't feel like it was just this canned thing where he's just going to be like, I don't want anything to do with you guys. He even brought in the way we as reporters go about our profession and the way we go whenever we write a bad article and things like that. So, and how we have confidence that we can not just continue writing bad articles. I thought it was really interesting, kind of the way he addressed it. I didn't think it was anything where I'm like, I'm convinced they're going to go 11-6 and make the playoffs and go on a run. I didn't come away with that either, though.
Well, there's talking about it and then there's acting upon it. A couple of significant moves today. Darius Slay was waived. That was a $10 million project that went awry for no other reason. Slay was bad guy or lazy or anything like that. Slay just, it comes. He was the oldest corner in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he couldn't cover anymore. And that happens only to everyone. Also, it would appear that WR2 has been resolved.
Really? This is something I haven't seen yet.
That's because it literally just happened.
Yeah, my phone is being used as a camera, so.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, there you go.
This is
Adam
authentic.
Yep. All right.
Let's talk about him first. He is not young. He did want out of Minnesota because he had obviously the Vikings have run completely out of options. He wants a chance to be able to do something with this being his last season. And as you might imagine, the reception to pretty much everything Steelers related this week is going to be negative.
Oh, yeah.
Colorado Yin says, 35 years old, a perfect addition to the independent living Steelers. I all I have to say is I'd rather see action than not action.
Yeah.
I'd rather see the Steelers saying, listen, we're not covering people very well, so let's try Asante Samuel over Darius Slay, or let's try whoever over Slay. And that's what's happening now. There are changes that are being made. At the wide receiver position, when you have your quarterback sit there in the room in front of us and say that guys aren't getting enough separation, do something. Do something, even if it's super late, even if it's super ineffective, even if it's ineffective. It's something. It's something. It really is. And I don't need to tell anybody what kind of wide receiver Thielen is.
Yeah, I mean, he like back in the day when he was in his prime. I mean, this would be a great get, but he also wouldn't be on waivers either.
He asked for, it's not that kind of waivers. The Vikings weren't going to do that unless, the Vikings yesterday put out a whole statement about this.
Right.
Really, was respectful, and they weren't going to show him up. So it's not like he got dumped.
No.
Slay got dumped.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, Slay was a healthy scratch and everything, but you go through Adam Thielen's career. He was a 2-time Pro Bowler. He was second team All Pro in 2017. Multiple, 3,000-yard seasons, 64 touchdowns, 8,300 yards over his career. He's had a good long career, but he's 35 years old. You have the same concerns over an Adam Thielen as a lot of people did about Cooper Kupp when he was going to Seattle. Now, granted, Seattle's
Kupp nailed it, man. He really did.
Yeah.
Give him credit. Everyone had the same thought when that happened with him, and it was like, oh, yeah, Seattle. You got to do your homework, too. I'm not saying Thielen did, but...
Yeah.
Jessica asks if he plays this week. That would be a hell yes. No, I really believe that. I don't think this is... Look, it's getting dark outside. Mm-hmm. You've got yourself a wide receiving core that... I'm going to say this again. The quarterback's just... in a subtle way, complained about them. And he wasn't just talking about the wide receivers, by the way. Remember that the one guy he mentioned by name was Jonnu Smith.
Yeah.
So you want people to get open. You want people to catch the ball. I'm still inclined to keep bringing up the same subject, but it can't just be the personnel, or it can't just... you have to throw to the middle of the field, and you have to use your tight ends the way they're intended to be used. Yeah. How about starting with that? Look at the Ravens defense. This is not a great secondary, and it hasn't been one for a couple of years. They give up yardage. Go at them. Yeah. Go at them. Stop being so freaking afraid all the time. They're afraid of everything. Well, that was the again, we talked about it yesterday, and I'll bring it up again. The Bills just had no respect for the Steelers' passing game. None. Zero. They were laughing. Several times, the furthest a Bill defender was from the line of scrimmage before the snap was like 7 yards. It didn't happen every single time, but so many snaps. Just the fact that even happens once or twice in a game. Even when you have DK Metcalf over on one side, they're just like, that's fine. We are going to roll over. We're going to roll coverage over to him. We're going to make you beat us with other guys. And the Steelers just aren't doing that. Now, do I think that Adam Thielen is going to come in and have some sort of resurgence at age 35? I have my doubts. There's no question about that. But at least you bring some experience in, and somebody who understands how to run routes and understands route details. If there's anything that Aaron Rodgers needs right now, it's more guys who understand details, because that is clearly not showing up from everybody else. Even with Metcalf. Metcalf's never been the most detail-oriented guy either. Make some changes. Get serious. That's what has to happen here. It can't just be that. Hang on one second. It can't just be that you say, hey, we're gonna really buck up here. We're gonna get tough. We're gonna get we're gonna tackle harder. We're gonna run more. We're gonna, and because that's what you're gonna hear. But it's not an answer. It's not an answer. You have to change people. These people, the players, haven't gotten the job done. And it's not just these two. At some point or other, you had to start changing players. I felt like some of that could have gone on a lot earlier than it did, especially as it relates to, the wide receivers position, especially as it relates to the offensive line, but that's another story entirely. They're trying to do something here, and I'm not going to take that when it happens, even if it's week 14, and slam it. But ultimately, it can't just be that either. It's got to be schematics. It's got to be, God, can you act at some point or other, if you're the Steelers, like you got nothing to lose? Yeah. I mean, to me, and I don't mean to keep picking on this as if this play somehow changed the season, Chris, but Mason Rudolph's interception, to me, was the one that I would use as symbolic. Certainly not to pick on Mason, But you're looking at throwing to a tight end who does not run sideline routes, way deep on the sideline. Yeah, a lot of coverage and everything else here. Mason shouldn't have thrown the ball. But there's all kinds of things you could have done from a position of strength. And the reason, the motivation for not doing it, and this is on the head coach, not the coordinator. You're going to have to trust me on that. Is that he's just avoiding the middle of the field so that he doesn't throw an interception. Ironically, only to result in what? That was what I thought the moment that ball was caught was you're trying so hard to avoid an interception that you just threw an interception.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Instead of saying, here's Darnell Washington, who's larger than life. He's 10 yards away from Mason. He's looking right at it. Straight on. Here's an 8. Here's a 0. Put it in here. Boom. Nah, let's do it way over there. And let's challenge a guy who really doesn't jump much to try to high point this ball in coverage on the sideline. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, there are all kinds of schematic issues you can look at. And we're talking, I think a lot of the time it really is just overthinking everything. It's just, it's the 4th and 2 play has been brought up quite a bit, and it should be, because to me, that's probably the epitome of overthinking things. You leave in Jonnu Smith to block Greg Rousseau, to have Darnell Washington be the decoy in the pass. Like, I understand you're trying to outsmart, but it's what was the saying? Paralysis by analysis. Like, it's that whole thing where, listen, if you need to wash out Greg Rousseau so that Kenneth Gainwell can try to go up the middle, then put somebody on Greg Rousseau who can actually get the job done. Jonnu Smith does not stand a chance of washing out Greg Rousseau. There's just no chance of doing it. You're not going to catch Rousseau off guard by being like, oh, Jonnu's blocking me instead of Darnell. No, it doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. And so I want to see just more, I guess, simplification, just not trying to overthink your, play to the strengths of your players. If you need Greg Rousseau washed out on a particular play, put a guy on him who's going to wash him out. That could be Darnell Washington. That could be Spencer Anderson. And I had my concerns when Jonnu Smith was acquired. No, way before Jonnu Smith was acquired. I had my concerns that you're going to have 2 tight ends that are too similar on the field, on the roster. And there wouldn't be enough room for both of them, especially since they've introduced the jumbo package with Spencer Anderson. That's been heightened even more, because now Pat Freiermuth is just completely MIA. He's nowhere to be found. And that to me that can't happen. It can't happen. So maybe this change of bringing in the Adam Thielen is going to force them to play out of more 12 personnel, out of more 11 personnel, and you won't have to run a million tight ends out there. And I'm not saying that running a million tight ends is a bad thing, because it can be done in today's NFL and be successful. But the way it's being done right now, it's like you said, something's got to change. Personnel's got to change. Schematics have to change. There has to be change.
When we come back, we're going to take your questions here on the program. I'm looking forward to that today. Let's try to do better than hypothetical Tomlin firings. There's a big football game this weekend. I'm not saying the subject's off limits. I'm saying it's just there's really not much left to say on that. No, he's not getting fired midseason. When we come back, we'll do this with you.
For those of you who are doing real work in construction, in a warehouse, if you're a mechanic, you want reliable, comfortable gear to help you perform well on the job. Brunt Workwear's got you. They've got waterproof boots, safety toe, soft toe, pull-on, lace-up, whatever you need. You can wear them to work, and if they're not right for you, send them back. I don't know of any other brand doing that. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. So they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. For a limited time, our listeners get $10 off. Just head to bruntworkwear.com. Use the code DK Sports and you're good to go. After you order, they'll ask you where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor here at DK Pittsburgh Sports and tell them it was from this show.
Welcome back. It's time to remind everybody that the Steelers are down. They're dogs, 6.5 to the Ravens this weekend in Baltimore. I don't know enough about gambling and so forth to know if that's are you surprised they're that close, or that's actually a pretty big gap?
No, 6.5 points is quite a bit, especially in a rivalry game. I mean,
A team that just lost.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the Ravens are coming off the Ravens had won. They went from 1-5 to 6-5, and that's all well and good. They also played a lot of bad teams during that stretch, and then they just lost to the Bengals at home. I don't feel like the Ravens are.
The other thing is you have about 3 decades of precedent for all of these games being decided by exactly 3 points.
Right.
Not a spread, but exactly, quite literally 3 points. It is time to check out the latest odds, futures, and win totals on the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you think the Steelers are going to flip their season on its head Sunday in Baltimore, lock in your bets today. Whatever you decide to do, whatever your game, the FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials so that you can join in on all of the action. Let's see what we got here from these here guys. Heldon comes in with the first of the string of obligatory, did you ask da-da-da-da-da questions?
Oh, Lord.
Heldon Daddy says, well, it's their show today, the rest of the show. Heldon Daddy says, has Arthur Smith been asked why he refuses to get his best players involved? No Pat Freiermuth and pulling Jalen Warren in big moments and not getting DK Metcalf the ball. All completely legitimate issues. Has Arthur been asked about that? Arthur has been asked, not the way you just did, but Arthur has been asked about individual usage for all of these guys in various forms. He just has. Now, I'm going to sit here and rattle off the top of my head what his answers were on all of these, but Arthur's general answer on these things, whether you're talking to him in a formal interview setting or whether you're just casually BSing or whatever, I'm looking for players who are the right fit for a certain thing. Now, I say that, and that triggers all kinds of reactions immediately because you're thinking, oh, really? Like having Jonnu Smith block Greg Rousseau. It's entirely possible that the way that thing is lined up, it's not the way he wanted. Meaning he has it set up because he didn't think Rousseau would be there. Or he thought that Darnell was supposed to. We just don't know. You don't know until after the fact. And in the case of the coordinators, until well after the fact. The coordinators, of course, are available to us formally only on Thursdays. Mm-hmm. So for those of you who go back to the day when you could just talk to the coordinator right after the game and get everything that you need,
yeah,
no, that you now have to wait till Thursday. Now I don't know how many of these questions are going to get asked. My guess is that the first 2 are real high because I feel like the Steelers have at least tried to get the ball to Metcalf. It just hasn't clicked. It hasn't clicked at all. And this is 2 games in a row now where I thought in the previous game they were actually force feeding the Metcalf thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I understand why they want to get the ball in DK Metcalf's hands because when he has the ball in his hands, he can make things happen. He just can. I mean, we've seen it happen this season. The problem is like defenses are treating it as in it's like we're going to take DK Metcalf out of the game, and any time he catches the ball, we're going to have coverage rolled in his direction in so many different ways that he's not going to be this impact. He's just not. We are going to make you beat us with other guys, and it's obviously not happening. It's not. I mean, you could make them pay for that by running the ball. Well, they're not running the ball. You could make them pay for that by having anybody else or everybody else be productive, and nobody else is being productive, and it's for a number of reasons. Sometimes Rodgers doesn't see him. Sometimes the pass protection doesn't hold up. And sometimes, and more often than not, it's either guys aren't getting open or the middle of the field is, or the schematics just aren't very good, including attacking middle of the field. So, yeah, I understand wanting to get the ball in DK Metcalf's hands, but the best way to do it right now is not to force it there. It's to make the defense stop doing it by utilizing or having other guys step up and be productive for you.
Football questions. Football. Less narratives. More football. We can do that. About 90% of this is narrative stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking for football. Here's a terrific one. This is a significant impact.
Yep.
Issue here. Sean Harker asks, losing Derek Harmon this week again is a big deal. What do the Steelers need to do schematically to ensure that the Ravens don't run all over them? They need to play a lot better. Okay, that's not me dodging the question. That's me looking again at that film of what Buffalo did, and so much of what was in the middle just got shoved out.
Yeah.
It just got shoved out. And don't think for a split second that if the Bills ran that kick out play about 150 times on Sunday, don't think for a second that Harbaugh and company aren't down there going, oh, we're just going to do this.
Oh, Todd Monken.
My God, that'd be hilarious.
Todd Monken is a really good offensive coordinator. He's done some really good things in Baltimore. Not only
hilarious if they did, Chris.
Not only can the Ravens run what they did last year when they put up 299 yards on the ground, and that's just spam them with read options and just make like literally it's like pick your poison. Either go all out to stop Derrick Henry or you go all out to stop Lamar Jackson. But now the Bills have given the Ravens another weapon. It's been like, okay, just run mid zone and try to run it to the weak side and just do what the Bills were doing all day long. So yeah, it's Derek Harmon being out. Listen, I don't think it's an accident. Derek Harmon's now, this will be his fourth game missed this season. And in the 3 games before that he's been out, they have been terrible against the run. And we're talking against the Jets, against the Seahawks, and then last week against the Bills. They have been bad against the run. When he's been on the field, when he's been in the game, they've been better. So Derek Harmon makes a difference. And so, shoot, man, Derek Harmon was drafted because of what happened in Baltimore in the playoffs.
Yep.
And now he's not even going to be there
and
because
now
he's
not
injured.
going to be there, and it hurts. Jessica has a great sense of humor. She says, do the Ravens have anyone out on the offensive line? I'm asking for our sack numbers. Good for you. For anybody who doesn't follow her little joke there, the Steelers have now faced 2 opponents out of their past 3. Is that correct? That's when the Chargers game was, out of the past 3?
I believe so.
Yeah, 2 out of the past 3 who were missing both of their offensive tackles. And each time you thought, oh, yeah, here come the edge rushers. Here comes TJ. And they're going to feast, and they're going to run it. No. In fact, Chris, I didn't think TJ had all that bad of a game until I watched the film.
Oh no, it was bad.
It
was bad.
I'm not all that proud of that live assessment of mine. Okay, because I just looked at the numbers and I thought, all right. I mean, there's no sacks. I mean, he's human. 1 quarterback hit. When you see what they did to him and how they did it and how they were shoving him off the ball on those repeated runs, that was to his side, kids. That was to his side, and he was the one being neutralized.
Sometimes by single blocks.
By a single stand-up block.
Yeah.
Okay, one of them was a tight end.
Yeah.
That's not okay.
It's not. I mean, your best players have to be your best players, and
it can't be that.
No, it cannot be that. TJ's got to be better, and TJ's not alone in that. I mean, they were bad in a lot of ways, schematically, but also players just had a really, really terrible game up front. But yeah, TJ's got to be better. I mean, he is being paid as one of the best defensive players in the league, and he's got to be better. He just has to be, and it's got to be more than just bringing up sacks. Like you got, like that was one of TJ's big things. Was he's not just a good sack. He's not good at just getting after the quarterback. He was originally thought of as being one of the best, if not the best, run defending edge rusher, and that was bad.
Seal the edge. Seal the edge. Can't play edge rusher in Pittsburgh without sealing the edge. Hear that from him, too. AW says, is it fair to say that this team no longer loses because of effort? It loses because of predictability, or is it both? I have two ways to answer that one. The first one is I don't really know that effort's been that much of an issue. Okay, no. I think what happens is you get some of the wind knocked out of your sails in certain situations. But for those of you who don't know this figure, the Steelers' defense has been on the field for more snaps than any other in the National Football League. Not coincidentally, the offense has been on the field for the fewest snaps. Now, when this subject was brought up with TJ on Sunday, the question was, is that essentially, is it kind of an excuse? He said, and he said this pretty sharply. He said, no, we go on the field, we get a 3 and out, we're right back off the field.
Yeah.
And he's right. But they don't, because they can't stop anybody on third down, even third and long. First and second downs have actually been okay for this defense for the most part. They get into 3rd and 11 and something really bad tends to happen.
Yeah. No, let's
let's keep moving here. You got this one here, Chris. Steelers 419 says the Tomlin can't help himself with resume guys. Thielen, really? No, I wouldn't look at it that way. Not this transaction, not this one, because this is happening after the trade deadline. It's a one-off. I mean, there aren't these players aren't available anywhere. This is desperation. What this is them saying, hey, Aaron, listen, we know what you have. Here's all that's out there. He already has a relationship with a guy. I'm sure we're going to hear more about that from Aaron himself this week. And the one thing that you're going to get out of a guy who is as accomplished as Thielen is, he's going to run the run right. Easy for me to say, huh? He's going to run the right routes. That'll be the last time I ever use that phrase on this show.
Yeah.
He's gonna at least be where Aaron knows he's supposed to be. And maybe he'll get a little bit of separation just on that basis alone, on timing alone. He can have somebody sitting with him in the film room, the way Aaron intimated the other day, who pays attention. And they don't have to teach him the entire book. They got to show him maybe a handful of plays and say, hey, let's get these routes done. When you're on the field, listen, if it's going to be if it's going to be a tell that it's a pass play, big deal. If we really need somebody to execute part of our run blocking scheme or whatever, you'll be off the field in favor of Ben Skoranek, as happened often, by the way. On Sunday, Skoranek was out there a lot. And he'll have at least somebody that he can count on. This is desperation. Let's not pretend it isn't, okay? This is desperation. But I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and listen, I think this is just one of those times where fans are going to be mad no matter what happens. If they don't make any moves this week and they just go into Baltimore with the same roster and the same players,
and you pasted.
Yeah, I mean, but not even just that. But then people are going to be like, see, they talk about making all this change, then no change happens.
This is I mean, look, this is low hanging fruit. The idea that he's 35, there's no trade deadline. There's not people sitting around. This guy just walked off an active roster, so at least you have that. He wasn't sitting on his couch somewhere.
Yeah,
and he has a history, and he has a pedigree and a reputation as being a true professional, and all that other good stuff. Why not? He can't be worse than what you've had for wide receiving options. But you also, Get Pat back out there. I don't mean to jump on in my own low hanging fruit here, but get Pat back out there. Just the same way that you've reached some realizations about certain guys that you've signed or that added over the past year. Man, I hate to say this. I really like the guy, but John is just not getting it done. No. Nothing's happened there. No. Nothing close to what occurred in Miami. And I hate doing this. I really like this guy, but he plays like it's his last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that's the way he's carried himself all along. And that's a tough thing to know or assess, especially when the guy is coming off of his career high in everything with the Dolphins. Just like Slay was coming off this wonderful year in Philadelphia. Were they on retirement contracts, so to speak? I don't know, because they were acquired very differently. You know, Slay got his money. I don't know. It's Pat needs to be out there. That's the way I'll put it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree that listen, when Pat has gotten heightened targets and heightened, snaps, he's been productive. I mean, I think about Cincinnati. It's not just for whenever you face a zone heavy team. That just can't that's where you end up getting predictable. That's the time where you again, it's the whole overthinking things. Well, we don't want to use Pat too much because they're expecting that. But then we're like, well, they're not going to expect Johnny Smith to block Greg Rousseau. But okay, but that's a stupid idea. Even if they're not expecting it, because they wouldn't think that you're going to do something that dumb. It's not a dumb thing to try to get Pat Freiermuth involved, whether you're facing a zone heavy defense or a man heavy defense. He's a good tight end and can be a security blanket for your quarterback. He was that for Ben as a rookie. He became that really, really quick, and he was a constant for Mitch Trubisky, for Kenny Pickett, for Russell Wilson, for Justin Fields. He was a constant there. Somebody who, hey, I need a catch on this play, no matter what. I can get when all else fails, I can get to Pat. And that is, I think, they have to get him more involved. But when it comes to Adam Thielen, the way he's going to, listen, where he's going to go, if he can pick up the game plan and all the plays that are going to be part of the game plan quickly enough, I have him out there for as much as right now, I can't trust Calvin Austin. I can't trust Roman Wilson.
I'm not sure what's going on with Cal, and I don't think any of them are trusting Roman Wilson right now. I don't think they want to bury him because he's young and all that other stuff, but don't say that the Roman Wilson thing isn't something. And they haven't been there all along.
No.
They haven't been there. They weren't there in training camp.
No.
It's all anybody was talking about was, he's got all this ability. He's got all this stuff. He's a wide receiver. He needs to run precision routes. Mm-hmm. It's a precision sport at that position. Mm-hmm. You've got to be a professional. You've got to understand every fraction of every step you take on every blade of grass as a wide receiver in the NFL. This isn't college. Yeah. You're not. You have that term that they use in the NFL. Use college open, because it's easier to get open in college because you're facing a lot easier. People aren't going to play the NFL.
Yeah, and again, I think you're seeing the limitations, and it's really, really been accentuated this season in Calvin Austin. I think when he has an opportunity to line up against a guy, when the defender is playing off of him and he has a chance to have time and space to get separation, he can get separation naturally because he's just really fast and really quick and really agile. But the first third down play, and it was part of the Chalk Talk that I did yesterday, there's the one where they're both running, Austin's running behind Roman. And he's trying to use that as a way to create separation, but the defender jumps in front of him and just completely knocks Calvin off of his route. There's no, like, he's just
He,
not
he
big enough.
engulfed him. Calvin didn't
Yeah.
even exist on that play.
Yeah.
That play had a 0% chance of success.
And it was a 0% chance of success the second that defender used that 5-yard cushion that he's allowed to use to be physical. He knocked him off of his route. There was no chance after that. None.
Nope. You know who doesn't get knocked off his routes that easily? Pat Fryermuth. And Chris is right, though. The Muth thing, it'd be one thing if Muth was out there and disappointing people. You know, if he went out there and he had some really difficult games and, you know, some key drops or fumbled or something, and you say, well, you've got to, you know, you've got to make sure that he gets the message here that he's not performing or so forth. I'm looking up Muth's stats right now here.
I am too.
That's all I want to see, because I seem to recall that his catch rate is really good. Receiving, Pat Fryermuth.
81.3%.
He's second on a team. They don't throw him the ball. He's second on a team in receptions. 26 out of 32 receptions versus targets. 6 times he didn't catch a ball. Out of his 26 catches, 12 of them resulted in first downs. A team that does not convert first downs. A team that doesn't move the sticks. A team, which, by the way, has a head coach that blames virtually everything about his offense on not being able to do what I just described. Cal, who hasn't been taken off the field, also has 26 catches. You ready for this difference? Mm-hmm. Pat's 26 catches have come on to 32 targets. Cal's have come on 44 targets. 26 out of 44 is one hell of a catch rate in the National Football League.
And not in a good way.
No.
No.
Not in a good way. Not in a good way at all. Muth's also got the 4 touchdowns. Barely getting used. A couple of big plays, a 68-yarder. I don't know what to say. They got guys. And this might end up being, Chris, the story of the season, like when it's done.
Yeah.
The season still has a long way to go, incredibly. The story of the season was going to be that they got enamored by a bunch of names, and they acted as if those names were either going to be cure-alls for a lack of schematics, coverage people, or that these names were just going to magically resurrect their best 25-year-old selves. And that's where that's why I'm kind of being careful about Thielen here, because he doesn't fit that at all. This is a desperation move post-deadline.
Yeah.
But when you look at what went into building this defense, and to a degree this offense, meaning Jonnu Smith, that's what happened. Ooh, names.
Yeah.
Coach starstruck.
Yeah, I don't know if that, because obviously Jonnu was acquired in that trade to get Jalen Ramsey, and I don't know. This is more of a question for Omar. Obviously, well after the season, he won't talk until the combine. But this is more for a question for Omar. Like, hey, was that trade not going to happen unless Johnny was part of it? Like, because it did seem like if we can't get WR2, we're just going to run a bunch of tight ends, and that's going to be the way it goes. Like. Yeah, I don't. Somebody just said, like, can we at least say that they screwed up WR2? Of course, like that's never been something where we've been like, yeah, they it's not a position to worry about. No, it's been a concern. It's the one time it wasn't a concern was the short amount of time between when they acquired DK Metcalf and when they traded George Pickens. That was the one time that it was not a concern because the two of them were on the roster. But as soon as they traded George Pickens, it became an issue again, and it's not been addressed. And I think if last season didn't prove that enough, then this season absolutely has. Because it's not like DK Metcalf hasn't been out there for a certain amount of time. He's been out there. And defenses are literally telling you, we don't respect anybody else that you have out there. Like, that's a problem. That's a major, major, major problem. So yes, it's been a problem.
Yeah. Let's take a couple more today. Copus here says, what has to happen rather than what will happen on offense? Well, I'll tell you what has to happen. I think you need to go back to a Dublin mindset, which is, what do we have to do to make this thing happen? And by that, I mean one specific thing, something that you'll build off of. If you remember the Dublin approach, it was bring Spencer Anderson out here, keep Darnell in, and just... And it worked, because the run game did open up some passing options. Aaron Rodgers was able to make some things happen through the air over there against the Vikings. Did it feel like they were... I'm going to use this term a lot whenever I discuss that game. Cheating? Yes. Did they go for their cheat code to advance to the next level of the video game? Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And I remember Chris and I sitting up in that press box in Ireland laughing every time they would announce Spence as eligible. And then a few of the Steelers fans off to the left of the makeshift press box started this Spencer chant, or just to try to rev up what this offense was trying to do. But it worked. And it worked up against Brian Flores' defense that's got some imagination and some speed to it, if not necessarily bulk. They made some things happen. So that's what I'm looking at here to answer your question here. I'm looking for something where the Steelers almost overcommit to the concept, if they sell out to the concept. And that concept, and this won't happen, okay, because you're saying would rather than what will happen, because this is the mistake that I think Art is making right now. He's still looking for chunks. We don't have to wonder about that. He said so again last Thursday. He wants chunks. He doesn't have that. Sorry, Art, they didn't give you that, man.
Yeah.
Okay? They didn't give you that. Look around. Read the room, as the kids say. Read the room. Look around. See what's there. You're not going to find chunks. Metcalf was your one hope for this. And I know that's why he keeps trying. He keeps trying to get somebody to hit him downfield, but it's not happening. Go with what you actually have. Watch the Dublin tape.
I agree. I agree with that to a certain extent. They need to be able to run the ball. The problem is, and we're seeing this now, the Bengals did it against the Steelers, and the Bills just did it. They are selling out to stop the run.
Right.
So much so that what you should do as an offensive coordinator is make them pay for it.
Yeah.
That does not.
They run right into it, Chris. We talked about it Sunday at the stadium. They run right into it.
But what I don't want to see is the solution for that to be, okay, we're just going to throw go balls. Because Art himself, on a number of occasions now, has talked about how you can't just attack defenses with go balls, like we talk about through the air. Like, it was, if anything, it was like, he's saying it to a certain extent where you're almost like, Art, are you taking a shot at Russ from last year? Like, almost to that extent, he's talked about like how much he doesn't like just throwing the go balls. But the problem is that that's all we're seeing about trying to take chunks out of the defense. The only time we've seen talking about taking chunks out is either, number one, they're trying to do catch and run stuff underneath, which I'm fine with. You can get chunks that way. That there are more than one way to get out of chunks. You don't have to put the ball up. You don't have to average 15 air yards per throw to get chunks out of the defense. You can do it with the short, quick catch and run type of routes. But the other way you can do it is obviously to attack the middle of the freaking field. And they don't do that.
Attack. They don't even tread near it.
Yeah.
The Bermuda Oval.
And the few times there possibly can be an option open there, something else goes wrong. The pass protection breaks down. Rodgers doesn't see it. Something else happens. It's bad. It's bad.
One more today. I'm looking for a good one here.
And then I have to do some homework on Adam Thielen.
Yeah, you do, actually. I forgot about that. We also do have that app
Yeah, we do.
that we have to update.
Story's already written on Slay and Samuel, so that one's already done. But now I got to do homework on Adam Thielen.
You got the news up, right?
Yes.
You did that while I was talking, didn't you? You didn't pay attention to
That's how I have to mute him because I can hear.
You didn't pay attention to anything I was saying, did you?
I was. I can multitask sometimes.
Oh no. Come on. I want one good football question. I'm going through these at lightning speed and I'm not finding even one. Everything is something, Omar, Art, Fire, or whatever. Here's one from Brian who says, let's put Metcalf and Marcus Valdez-Scantling outside, Thielen in the slot, outside bench, Smith, and use Pat. Okay. Still got to run the ball.
Yeah.
Still got to run the ball. And you still got to find somebody to hit some slants behind them if they're doing what Buffalo did while they were concealing their giggles and having 12 out of their 11 defenders in the box. That's what that looked like. It was comical. I don't know if that came across on television. And I guess it kind of had to because they show the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
That's where everybody was. It was just farcical.
Yeah.
I remember a game where, speaking of Baltimore, it was down there. John Harbaugh sold his soul to stop Le'Veon Bell. he sold the souls of his children to stop Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
He had every Raven who's ever played, who's ever worn that purple uniform with the ugly logo. And it is a dumb logo. That doesn't get discussed often enough. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
Look at, what is that? Like, what's that supposed to be? Like some kind of weird cartoon bird with the excessively animated red eyeball and then the big awkward bee on there. It doesn't look like anything.
Yeah. I thought the original logo when they first came out was way better. Cause it was, didn't they like use like part of the actual like Maryland flag? Like as part of the logo?
It's like a soccer looking crest. I know what you're talking about. They still utilize it in some forms. They haven't buried it.
Yeah.
That
needs to be there.
This thing is ridiculous for a franchise that really takes themselves seriously too.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Chris asks how long before those guys hit the field. They should hit it this weekend. What would you be saving them for?
Yeah. it's
Tuesday. You are lifelong professional football players. Learn 5 plays.
Now, the one thing I am a little curious / concerned about when it comes to MVS is he's obviously on the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean he can't play because we just saw Asante Samuel Jr. get elevated from the practice squad in favor of and Darius Slay being a healthy scratch in favor of that. So, I understand that. Because of what we saw happen with Mike Williams, I just wonder if something similar is possibly happening with MVS.
Mm-hmm. They found something.
Yeah, if it's just like...
We'll find out. We're just guessing now. When you're on the practice squad...
Yeah.
They also need those spots on the practice squad. So if they found something significant, I'm sure they would have found a very easy way to say, hey, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
And just move on. Scott says that the Ravens logo is on par with the Browns. No, that is unparalleled. Steelers Forever says, how much is the app? I like that transition. We're going to use that.
The app is free.
The app itself is free, says the boss over there, which it is. You can download it. You can get in the content. You can read it, but you have to go through a whole bunch of ads. You can't comment. And it's just not the same experience. There's such a massive difference between our free version and our premium version that I really only ever want to talk about the premium version because I don't even want to acknowledge that the free one exists. So go ahead and get the app. Take a look at it. Imagine what it would look like without all those ads, and there are a lot of them. And send me an email, dk@dkpittsburghsports.com. Do that. Then I will send you back a massive discount that you won't say no to because I don't think anybody has said no to it yet. It's possible that they have, and I don't remember it, but I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, guys. Listen, we're done here. Chris is going to go ahead and update his Adam Thielen file. I'm going to get to work on something else that I'm writing for tonight. And don't forget that next week, beginning Monday, we will be doing a double shot of Penguins here on this same channel. It'll be right around this time, actually. It'll start at 4:30. And really looking forward to that. We do have a team that's going well in this city. And my goodness, did they take care of the Flyers last night in Philadelphia?
They sure did. There are not many players that I enjoy seeing on the losing end of things, but watching Trevor Zegras,
Glorious.
and
he's been that forever. I'm not
he
gonna.
really has. It's not just a Flyers thing.
I'm not betraying any trust here when I tell you Sid hates the dude.
Yeah,
and he hated him going back to Anaheim because he's such a. This term gets misused a lot, but it's appropriate for this guy. He's just a punk. Like he's somebody who I guarantee you spent his entire schoolyard existence getting punched in the face. That's who Zegras is. Remember when he was doing all that hot dogging with the Ducks and all the carrying the puck around on his in the air and the little flip pass to the dude? Everyone's like, "Whoa, Trevor Zegras is the future of hockey." He is not.
He is not. There's a reason. There's a reason why he will not sniff. Did not sniff the U.S. roster for Four Nations and will not sniff the U.S. roster for the Olympics.
No chance whatsoever here. Charles Tomarello says, angry Tristan Jarry is tremendous. I don't think Jars is angry. I've had a lot of talks with him this year at home and on the road. I think it's the other way. I think he's just gotten more chill. He and his wife had their first baby in April. He's taking all kinds of pride in being a father, doing all kinds of other community work and so forth. It's just not the end of the world when somebody scores on him anymore. He just says, "Oh well, gonna stop the next one."
Well, that's the way goalies need to be, and that's
Stop the next one.
By the way, did they catch the sniper that shot Travis Connecting last night?
Oh, he went there.
I did go there.
Now, angry Gino is the best is a good observation. Gino is on fire. Gino doesn't want you talking about how old he is. He wants you talking about how he's still a point a game at age 39.
Yeah.
And he is too. This has been fun. They're now 13, 7 and 5. Mm-hmm. They're fifth in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, first wild card right now.
Mm-hmm, and they're also within 4 points of the conference lead.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is so airtight that almost doesn't matter what place you're in. It just matters what record you have. Mm-hmm. And now they've got a really tough remainder of this trip with two of the top three teams in the National Hockey League. First, the Lightning, and then the Stars, both on the road. I'm flying tomorrow to Tampa to cover that one against the Lightning. And I'll tell you what, come out of there with a couple of points. That's what I have to say.
Oh yeah. Okay. Get 2 points out of that, especially both on the road. Tampa's not an easy place to play. Dallas is becoming a much more difficult place to play. Dallas hasn't earned the reputation because it's a warm weather state and everything, but when the Stanley Cup playoffs happen, and DK can attest to this, when the Stanley Cup playoffs happen, watch that barn get pretty rambunctious during Dallas during the playoffs. So it gets, now that they've got a good team and they got Mikko Rantanen and all those guys.
I never experienced that, and in my many trips to Dallas to cover Stars games, I never experienced that. You know why?
Why?
The place gets bought out.
No,
it's as heavy a concentration of Penguins fans this side of Sunrise anywhere in the National Hockey League. It's crazy.
No, it really is. I mean, as somebody who lived there for so long and went to several Penguin Stars games, because I went to several Stars. I went to a lot of Stars games while I was there, but I went to several Penguin Stars games, and yes, it was one of the ones where it was the most black and gold in terms of it was. There was one game in particular, I think it was back in, I don't remember the year, but Jordan Stahl was still on the team, and it was a shootout win for the Penguins. That might have been a 50-50 arena that night. It was pretty crazy.
It's yeah, that's pretty nuts here. Ashlyn says the one time because I'm a Tampa girl that I have to root against y'all.
Y'all. There we go.
That's, by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, y'all is Southern speak for yins.
Actually, y'all is more universal than it used to be. It really is.
It was a joke.
Yeah.
It was and besides, nobody in Florida. She's in Florida. Florida doesn't use that. Florida is
telling you.
just this big whatever mishmash of tourists and elders.
Mishmash of tourists and elders. I'm going to use that line for my dad next time.
I think that's on their license plate now. It's a really long license plate. All right, guys, tomorrow we'll do this then. Go get the app. He's Chris. I'm Dan, and we'll see you tomorrow before my flight. Bye-bye.